If you like to play this game as much as I do, and you like to practice as much as I like to practice, I think you might be interested in what I have created here. So let me tell you a little bit about this. First of all, you're going to need about 400 square feet, a minimum of maybe 20 by 20. I have quite a bit more than that, as you can see. And you'll need some level ground. You'll also need a mat. I got this one from my friend Bob Hediger, who built the first tee here in the Midwest, probably the finest practice facility in all of the Midwest. We traded favors a few years ago and he gave me this mat. As you can see, I've been hitting on it now for a couple years and it's still wearing extremely well. Underneath the mat is a 4-inch thick slab of concrete. And obviously you can see that I have hung a net here from these posts. So for materials, if you decide to do something like this, you'll need 5 sacks of pre-mixed concrete. And by the way, those sacks weigh 80 pounds a piece, so you might need a power lifter for a friend to help you get them out of the hardware store and into your car and into your wheelbarrow and out to wherever you're going to mix your concrete. You'll also need 3 sections, 3 10-foot sections of 3/4 inch black pipe and 2 90-degree elbows. And for tools, I used a round point shovel to dig the area for my pad, put it in a wheelbarrow and hauled it away, and then I used a square point shovel to trim out the corners and do the finish grading. You'll also need a post hole digger and a pipe wrench because it's extremely difficult to thread plumber's pipe. I didn't know that, so I had to get a pipe wrench. You'll need a stout wheelbarrow to mix your concrete in. And then for layout, I used some stakes and some string line and a tape and just a simple square. And for the little bit of engineering that's involved, I used a 2-foot level. Once I had the area laid out, squared up properly, and my line and my grade was established, I was able to stretch a string line and a tape for the 2 post holes and the poles that support the net. Once the area was excavated, I put 2 inches of clean rock down for a base, and then I mixed the concrete 2 bags at a time in my wheelbarrow with a square point shovel and a hose close by. You can't really mix more than a couple of bags of cement in a wheelbarrow. It just becomes too heavy and too hard to manage. So I dumped the concrete in over the 2-inch clean rock. I had a 2x4 form around the edge, so I cut this area out 48 inches, even though my mat's only 46 inches square. And then one of the key parts here is once you've staked out your forms, I made sure with the level that the front and the back of the pad were perfectly level. I put just the slightest percent of slope using the level again, just maybe a 1/4 to a 1/2 a bubble of slope from front to back for drainage. And then I cut a little 4-inch trench out to lower ground and backfilled that with some clean rock. Also put the sod back on top. Now when we get a heavy rain, and we've had an awful lot of rain in recent weeks, it drains perfectly. I can come out here right after the rain stops and I can hit all of the balls that I want to. When I did the excavation for the pad, I also dug the 2 post holes 18 inches deep. However, I only put 12 inches of concrete back into the post holes, and then when I put the pipe in, I made sure I had it plumbed up while it was drying so we didn't have any tilt or lean with the netting. Then I backfilled that with 6 inches of earth and put the sod back in that I took out originally. I could have done the whole job in one day, and I don't know if I mentioned this, but now that I have done it and I have documented the little bit of expense and the little bit of time and effort that it took to do all of this, I don't know why I didn't do this 20 or 30 years ago, because it's just working out perfectly. I'm sure we've hit 1,000 balls out here in just the last couple of weeks since we completed everything. I did put some zoysia grass sod around the perimeter, and I added some topsoil, which I feathered out in all directions. I've overseeded that with some bent grass, and I'm also going to experiment with a little bit of paspalum, because the beauty of this is I can tee a ball up. Since the mat is too small to hit my driver, I can tee a ball up and hit the driver off of the turf. And once this grass knits together and grows in, I'll be able to hit fairway woods and hybrids off of turf grass, as well as using my own irons occasionally, as long as I don't tear up too much space at any one time. If you have any inclination to do something like this, and you have found what I've showed you informative, I would appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. And in the weeks ahead, we're going to start a series of about a dozen lessons on how to play this challenging and difficult game. So I hope you'll hit the subscribe button also and tune in, and I'll send you lessons as we do them in the weeks ahead. I think that you will find it very informative, and I hope to see you again next lesson. Thanks for watching.